right, you guys know the drill. It's March the 31st, the year 2017. We have Schaeffer Cox, a young patriot who was a charismatic liberty speaker, spoke out about the Second Amendment. The Federal Reserve was exposing police drug running associated with law enforcement in Alaska, was exposing child pedophilia in Alaska, ran for the Alaska House of Representatives in a three-way race, got 38% of the vote, climbed Mount McKinley 3 times, has 2 beautiful children and a beautiful wife. The government steps in and has to shut him up, so they sent in multiple government informants to entrap him over a period of several years until they got enough evidence where they could cherry pick a kangaroo court. They pulled a judge out of retirement. The story goes on and on and on. So you guys know the story of Schaeffer Cox. He's betrayed by those closest to him. He spent 6 years in prison, looking at 20 more years. And he wrote a letter, and we're going to read that letter. Here we go. This is the envelope. As you can see, it's postmarked. See if I can read that better. Looks like March the 20th to me. Postmarked March the 20th. Schaeffer Cox, March the 23rd, the year 2017. Dear everyone, here's how serious it is with Maria. All it takes to go to prison for the federal crime of mail fraud is to make materially false statements through the mail to get money. I asked people to donate to me so I could use it to hire an attorney. Those are 2 highly material statements. Who and what? So legally, I have to live up to the representations I made, which induced people to donate. Maria, by stepping in and making the money go to her instead of me, and by not letting any of it be used to hire an attorney, has prevented me from following through on the representations I made in good faith. Not only is this a criminal act on her part, it could also expose me to criminal liability along with her. So in addition to keeping me in prison by depriving me of my defense fund, Maria could actually end up getting me more time on top of what I'm fighting right now. Mail fraud is typically 5 years per count if you plea out right away, 12 years per count if you fight it. It doesn't matter much if you're guilty or not, or if it's someone else's fault. Page 2. Maria's not experienced enough to see this danger on her own, and she's too stubborn to listen when I tried to warn her. She's blinded. She wants that money, and she'll try to get it by hook or by crook. She won't accept my calls, emails, or letters. She's uncooperative in every way, and she's still trying to get more money. She's got an old limited power of attorney that I rescinded as soon as she started acting weird. Now she's refusing to give it back. There's no telling what kind of trouble she's creating for herself and others right now. I can't afford to have my name in any way associated with this sort of sneaky, dishonorable foolishness. I've already disavowed Maria and her secret board of directors, or whatever it is. But I can't just cut the loss and move on without first fixing the mess she made. Otherwise, I'll be complicit in her theft and fraud. Hopefully, it's not too late already. One way or another, I have to recover the funds from Maria, get a full and complete accounting, then make sure that no donors suffered any loss, and that their reasonable expectations are met. The more pressure you guys out there can put on Maria and her secret board, the better it will be for everyone, including her. Because if we fail to get Maria to cooperate, I'll be backed into a corner where I have to take legal action. I can file a civil suit and use subpoenas to find out who the shadowy figures on this board are, then get all their account records for the past 7 years. I can demand they produce proof of authorization to take control of the money, which they won't be able to do, which will show they took it without authorization. I can get a civil judgment against all of them so I can recover the loss and make good on the representations I made to the donors. This might be what I'm forced to do to avoid getting a new charge, but I hope not. Because if Maria forces me to drag all this into open court and build a record to sort it all out, it's going to leave a ready-made criminal case that's ripe for the feds to pick up. I don't want Maria to go to prison. Even if she is stupid, even if she did screw me over, even if she is disrespecting the donors, I don't want her to come to this hell called prison. I just want to right the wrongs and fix the damage that's been done. If it goes criminal, that will be a whole new damage that nobody needs. So please push Maria hard. So if I end up having to slam her, we all know she forced my hand. Rensel@Reagan.com is Maria's email address, and it's signed Schaeffer Cox. I do have a few other pages in this letter I have not even read yet, but I wanted to get this out while I had the time. And as I've stated many times, I do not censor a man being sentenced to 26 years in prison. And as a matter of fact, as he's writing, I certainly believe that he has very valid reasons to be concerned about how things have been handled. And my prayers are that Maria and the AFL, Alaskans for Liberty Board, step up and do the right thing. And those are now 5 things. And just to reiterate, a full accounting of everything that's been spent and also raised, turned over to Angela Clemens. A donor list to be turned over to Angela Clemens. Any monies that are left over to be turned over to Angela Clemens. And any information regarding Eberly attorneys and contracts to be turned over to Angela Clemens. And then also Maria needs to return and rescind any limited power of attorney that she once had for Schaeffer Cox. I think those are 5 reasonable requests. And this was not an easy thing for me to get involved in, but I will do what I can to help Schaeffer in prison. I consider him innocent. I don't see where he's wrong in these requests. And I will continue to read his letters, and I pray that something good comes of all of this so that we can move on and get on to more important things than infighting with the board. And for that to happen, the board and Maria need to respond to Schaeffer's request instead of putting out politically correct public statements about they have abided by the bylaws and they don't actually say anything specific or address the 20 questions that Schaeffer has put out. That's it for today. God bless. Please keep Schaeffer in your prayers and do as your conscience dictates.